Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for Tier 2 IRC Japanese Grand Prix rounds 10. We are only 4 more rounds to go for this season. So, right now, the fight is becoming very spicy, as you can say. So, today in the commentary, I have with me Ninja as well as Blacksheep, who will be commentating. Say hi, guys.
Howdy.
Hello.
Okay, so what do you guys expect in today's race? What are you guys looking forward to?
I'm personally hoping for a lot of carnage and a very exciting race. It's one of the more tricky circuits, I guess, to get right, especially in race conditions, in my view. I'm certainly looking forward to this. I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite exciting.
What about you, Ninja?
Well, I'm looking for some classic overtakes like in 130R, if you remember from Alonso and Schumacher days. If you can see some here in this race as well, it will be pretty swell. Otherwise, otherwise this, as Black Sheep said, this track is known for carnage. So yeah, a safety car thing will come out probably in some duration of time. But yeah, obviously we'll see what happens.
Yep, let's see what happens in today's race. Saying that, let's just head into the hot lap. Uh, so today's hot lap is provided by our very own Casey, coming down the final corner on the long straight, trying to get as much speed as possible on the start straight, going into the first two curves, carrying as much momentum as possible, downshifting slowly so that he can carry that momentum. Start from the S section. Here you have to downshift very carefully, and if you mess up one corner, it can literally mess up your full S section. Now heading up to the Dunlop curve, carrying as much momentum as possible. Now heading for the Beckner curve, tries to downshifts by one, throws the car in on the second curve. Now heading for the hairpin, where we can see a lot of overtakes in today's race. Tries to get on the throttle as fast as possible so that he can get that maximum speed as fast as possible on the straight that is about to be followed by a smooth curve. Trying to again throw in the car there, trying to use the track as much as possible, because if you go wide, you might lose a lot of time here. Coming to the back straight, where we can expect a lot of overtake. Going on 130R, there will be many cars today who will be looking to overtake just after the 130R, going to the casino triangles, hugs the corners, hugs the apex, gets on the throttle, crosses the bump, trying not to lose his car, and completes a lap of 127.9. That's a very good lap. What do you guys have to say about that lap?
Well, that is a pretty interesting lap, I would say. In quali, also, I'm expecting somewhere to do a same quali laps as well. Like sector one. I feel like there might be it's a make or break part of the track. So yeah, if you don't get it right in that sector, your whole lap is gonna get really screwed.
Yep, definitely. So, without wasting time, let's go on to the standings. So, Ninja, can you take over and tell what all are we expecting today? What all fight should we look into? What all are the different possibilities that we can see today?
Well, the first obvious thing is the battle for the first position in the drivers' championship between RB Ferrello and Tanish, one of Ferrari and another of Red Bull, which is like really a interesting recipe for some great battle and in towards the round 14. And then it's very close fight for third, and there are like many drivers who are like almost fighting for third place. I would say 4 drivers, I would say approximately, depending on how this race goes. So we have Natsumasum, Quiz by Vortex, and even Siva Thunder in the mix to see who can get the final third place in the standings. And meanwhile, in the constructors, we have Ferrari and Red Bull very close to each other, only difference of 6 points, I would say. And then Alfa Romeo behind them in third place, but not as far as you would see. So even they have the chance of overtaking Ferrari and Red Bull in the championship, in the constructor championship standings. And meanwhile, even for fourth place, looks interesting between Alpha Tauri, Renault, and McLaren, which are like difference of like 15 to 20 points between the 4th and the 6th. So it's going to be pretty interesting in this race to see.
Yep, definitely. So there is a lot of action that we can see today in today's race. Meanwhile, I feel that our driver fellows have readied up. So let's just go into the game and see what is the status of our drivers. So the qualifying will start soon. Drivers will be putting on their setups as of now. Till then, I will just increase my audio volume so that you guys can listen to the sweet sound of those engines.
Let me get on to strategy here for this race. What tires are you guys expecting to see everybody come out on?
I feel that
I think
yeah, Ninja, you go ahead.
okay, sorry about that, but I feel like most of the people will start in softs because to get the track position and towards the first section or first sector, I would say, like they would very ahead so that they don't want to get involved in the carnage between turn 1 and 2, which is a very usual spot for lap 1 carnage, I would say. So they would try to be as further high as possible so to avoid and then get the momentum on going towards the end. But yeah, they could also mix up the strategy, go for mediums, because this track is kind of heavy on tire as well, but not much. So yeah, we'll see what the drivers select for these guys.
Yeah, as you say that, you have 5, 6, and 7, or 8 guys now out, all of them on their soft tires.
So I guess either they are planning to start on mediums, and I have no clue what they are planning right now. Maybe they will start on softs and then carry on the race from there on.
I think a soft to medium is the ideal strategy here. As Ninja pointed out, track position is of a lot of importance here. It's not one of the best tracks, I guess, for overtaking. So I think a lot of guys here would be looking for that position. It looks to be a little bit overcast. I'm not sure if whether it's going to be playing any well, it's going to have any. It's going to be a factor in this qualifying session, but I guess we'll find out.
Actually, as you said that, I actually think that the reason why all the drivers are out on softs this early, maybe there might be some rain expected after a few minutes. So that's why everyone is trying to get in a fast lap as soon as possible before the downpour starts.
And meanwhile, we have Not So Masoom, who on his quali lap already has invalidated his very first quali lap, and behind him,
he goes out wide on the S section.
Now Tanish has to be very careful as he rejoins. Does avoid him, but probably might have got distracted through that. And doing towards the Dunlop curve right now, not going much wide, trying to stake and trying to throw his car towards Degner 1, gets a good flow and towards Degner 2. Then goes towards the hairpin, usually a spot where the traction can get you if you're using no traction. Then going towards a long right-hander curve, which is then leading towards the spoon, which is also a tricky corner to get a flow to it, because that also can make and break your lap times. Takes it steady, takes it quite nicely into the spoon curve, then goes towards the long back straight, which is a crossover, and the only track I would say has a crossover. And then going towards the 130R, flat out, goes into the chicane, which is called the Casino Triangle, gets nice in towards on the inside of the curve, but nice traction over there, missing the bumps over there, tries to take the better line and gets a 129.664.
So what do you think about that lap? Is it a good lap time?
I feel like it's a good lap time if you're trying to get the feel of the track for now. Certainly there's a lot of improvements left, but if the rain comes quickly, then whatever improvements he has to be doing has to be done quick.
RB crosses the line with a 130.0. Next to cross the line is RRL War Vortex, who goes on pole position for now with 129.5.
Well, Aberpan is also in the mix right now at P3 with 130 flat.
Right now it seems like everyone just carried one lap of fuel because everyone has backed out after setting their fastest lap.
Chris By, meanwhile, is on a charge. He's just done a purple sector 2.
He is coming on the casino triangles. Let's see how much momentum he can carry through these curves. Trying to avoid the bump, avoids the bump, takes the better line towards the inside, crosses the line, goes P5 with 134. Who else do you think is on a lap? Right now I can see many people will try to dive into the pits, get another pair of socks and go out for another lap.
How do we see the times evolving here, guys? So 129.5 or close to 129.6 is the best time we have so far. How do we see that changing? I'm personally not sure how the weather is going to play a role here in track conditions.
Yep, definitely we don't know what will be the weather after a few minutes because we can't even see if there is a downpour gonna come ahead. So maybe 129.5 will be quite a good time, but these drivers might have just come out to get a feel of the track and now they might go and put in a fresh set of tires, reduce the fuel and go on for another hot lap. We can see an improvement in the times.
I think Soham Day is the only person now on a lap, just coming up to the casino triangle.
And
towards the final corner. Oh, sorry about that. But it crosses the line and goes P7 with a 131.329.
right now it seems like everyone is concentrated from 129.5 to 135, like the top runners. And
yeah, there's about a second between P1 and P6 at the moment.
Altair also dives into the pits.
By
Both
the
the
look
alphas
of the
are
qualifying, I feel like, sorry about that, but by the look of the qualifying so far, doesn't look like everyone is like rushing towards the pits and getting back out quickly. So I don't think the rain will come that quickly, but towards the end it may be possible. So yeah, people will try to go for another lap in about a minute.
So Notso Matsum, I think, wasn't able to set a time in his first outing. He's just come back in and is now out for his first quali lap. It looks like he's done a first purple sector. I know that this game can be quite deceiving in showing purple sectors in quali run.
definitely. He was not utilizing the full curve in the S section. He was not hitting all the apexes, so that might have affected his time a bit. He is heading to the spoon curve, trying to goes down the inside, goes to the outside and then suddenly ducks back again in the inside. That was quite a good take on the spoon curve as he comes down the back straight. Full throttle overtake mode, trying to get as much speed, goes on 130R flat out. Goes through the triangles, casino triangles, avoids the bump, goes on the
goes
outside.
Really wide in the final corner.
Yep. But still he P4.
Yeah.
That was not a bad lap from him, actually.
Yeah, I think there's certainly some room for improvement there, at least a couple of tenths from what I saw.
Yeah.
So what are your guys' predictions so far? Who's going to be the top 3?
I think seeing at the leaderboard, I would say currently it looks like Tanish and War Vortex are. Oh, and as I say that, Tanish loses his car on the bump. So is it raining? I don't think so. It's raining, but I think he just lost his car on the bump. That bump can be really dangerous. I think he was going to start his lap.
And I suspect that's probably slightly put off War Vortex, who was just starting his lap there. Not sure how much it affected him, but probably a little taken aback by that, certainly.
Yeah. So as I was telling, my prediction would be Tanish might be in one of the top 3. War Vortex, Chris By, we have seen him do really well in last race at Monza. So I feel that he will also be in the top 3.
Guys, I'm not sure if the weather is changing. I think it's starting to rain a little bit because Warwatex, who had just started his second run for a quali lap, has gone off in the S's.
Yeah, I just saw that. Even I saw that he just lost it in the SS.
And speaking of that, Thermophobe has got a 5-place grid penalty while he was, but it was saying that it was illegal blocking, but I don't know if it was illegal blocking as first, because in the pit lane it looks like he was standing, but he was trying to give way to the driver who was on a quali lap, which he thought it was.
That's certainly not going to help Red Bull's aspirations for a championship lead here.
Yeah, definitely. Not sure what happened. Maybe he was just trying to give way, and game thought that he was blocking the pit lane, so the game gave a 5-second penalty there. Meanwhile, Dawn
5-place grid penalty actually.
Yeah, 5-place grid penalty. Dawn is on the final casino triangles. I think he was on a hot lap. So let's see what time he can put. It won't be that good, but it is P8 with a 135. He is continuing his hot lap. He will go for another run, I guess.
So Vinay, I think amongst everybody, is the only person who hasn't set a lap time so far. I'm not sure if he's on an actual lap. I don't think he is, because he's just out of any ERS.
As you say that, Dawn also lost in the S section, so I think there might be a slight bit of rain on the track.
Yeah, not that it's noticeable in any way.
Yeah. Even in the camera, I could not see any rain falling down.
And the overcast also looks like it's increasing quite a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any evolution of the track, certainly speed-wise.
And Abarpan took too much of the S curves and it just chew him and threw him out. He went to the gravel trap. I think I am a curse today. Whomever I am spectating just goes off the gravel.
I think we can say that about each one of us, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very interesting. We're sort of 13-14 minutes into the qualifying sessions, and everybody's first run in their quali laps is pretty much where we still are.
Yeah, true. No one is getting a chance to improve.
A lot of improvement here. Certainly, yeah.
Well, meanwhile, Akash Hegde looks to be on a quali lap right now towards the spoon curve, but he has gone a bit wide, lost the momentum over there, and probably lost a lot of time also.
Yeah, this reminds me of our Tier 1 Japan race. I guess even that was a bit overcast, as far as I remember.
I think there was rain in the qualifying there, wasn't it?
I am also not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was a rain.
Yeah, I think we qualified on inters.
Yeah, and Akash is not satisfied by his lap time times.
I guess it was an invalidation, so he had
another McLaren. Sorry, guys, we have another McLaren spinning all-tire.
People are losing their car a lot in the S section, so I have no clue what we can expect in today's race.
I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's because people usually expect the track to evolve and for the grip to evolve in the track, but that certainly doesn't seem to be the case, and it just seems to be a little bit more overcast, which is kind of throwing people out.
Yeah.
Or probably it is like they're trying to get a slight inch on their rivals, but as of like by doing that, they are like messing up their laps quite a lot, mainly towards the S curves and the spoon curves.
I doubt that. I doubt that it's people trying to gain marginal gains here, because I mean, you know, we still have about half a second in the top 5, so there's still a lot of gap. It certainly doesn't seem like people are on the edge and pushing for every marginal gain possible.
Yeah. Or can it be that since it is overcast, the track temps are very low and people are not able to get enough tire temps before they start their quali lap, and they are just losing control because of that?
Yeah, I suspect that to be the case.
Masoom is on a hot lap. He is heading for the casino triangles. Oh, I think he
Oh, and he,
invalidated. Yep, he
that
invalidated.
that is not a
Dives
good
back in
sign.
straight
Oh,
away.
I think I should
he,
stop spectating people because as soon as I turn on to them, they just do some. Meanwhile, Chris Bhai just goes pole position there.
Tanish is on his hot lap at the moment, just coming up to 130R, approaching the final chicane. This is going to be his final run, so hopefully he doesn't bottle it up.
Gets
Sticks
a
to the
good
inside,
exit.
crosses the line. 129.2.
2 and with our second. Oh my god.
He
So
did
it's certainly
improve on
not.
his time, but not as much to catch Chris Bhai.
Yeah, I think he was slightly taken aback by the spin that he had on the previous run that he tried to start.
Yep.
So maybe going a bit cautiously.
Meanwhile, Don seems to be finishing his lap. I don't know whether he was on a hot lap. No, I don't think so.
So
He dives into the pit.
pit. So I guess that's a qualifying ended for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Chris Bhai, Tanish, and Dawn certainly that's their times set. But we have to see if Vortex or RB Forello or Not So Masoom or Altar can improve.
Yeah. Right now, Akash Hegde is on a hot lap going through the S section. Hope that he keeps it on the track because till now many people have spun in the S section. Yep, he keeps it clean. Anyone else, guys, who is on a hot lap right now at the moment?
Vinay, I think he is on his first attempt at an official lap time that he's intending to set.
Yeah.
It's definitely his first proper attempt, I would say. I guess it has invalidated a lot of times back.
Yeah. He just tries to control his car in the smooth curve. He was going by wide, but the downshift helped him. Otherwise, that would have been another invalidation. And this is probably his last lap. So he should just concentrate on setting a time as of now.
Oh, there's a car right in front. Vortex is now starting his hot lap actually, but did that distract winner? Let's see how Eric places on the grid. And he goes P11, just 2 places up on it without even posting a lap before. So not a good look from winner right now, but has been overtaken by Akash with a 132, 181, and now Vortex is on his lap, currently at sector 1. There's a Williams right in front of him. I don't know if he's gonna stop him, but no, it doesn't seem to. Now he's going towards the Dunlop curve, heading towards
RB has spun
The
out.
one part has invalidated his lap as well. He cut too much of the Degner curve, and now that is qualifying over for Vortex.
Yeah. Right now, I feel that there are a couple of cars who are on a hot lap, especially Agent 47 and Tanish. Tanish has backed out, so that is qualifying done for him as well. Abhi 7 is on a hot lap. He is coming through 130R, goes flat out. Heading for the chicane, tries, avoids the bump. No, he does not.
I guess he wanted to go into the pits because he wasn't improving on his lap, so I didn't think he wanted to continue over there.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Not So Masoom is at the 130R. Goes 110 slower than sector 2 though, but let's see how can he make up at that time. Goes towards the chicane, towards the final corner on the... Tries to go on the out, but
he finishes with 129.8 P6, so I guess that is qualifying done. Altair is going into the pits, everyone is into the pits, so that is qualifying done for you guys. So looking back at the qualifying, P1 goes to Chris by 129.1. Tanish gets a 129.1 as well. Then followed by a Burpan, who will be in position 3 on the grid with a 129.5, followed by Vortex 129.5 again. So then followed by Altair, Natsumasu, RB, Dawn, Agent 47, Akash 11, Akash Hegde, Vinay, and then Thermophobe. Thermophobe has a uh, 5-second penalty, grid penalty, but still I think that won't affect. He is still qualifying at the back of the grid.
Yeah, not the qualifying RB Ferrello was hoping for. Starting in P7.
Yep. And what do you guys think about the race? Will it be dry? Will it be wet?
Well, by the analyst behind at the backstage, I would say, they have said the race is pretty much dry. There's no rain. There's no chances of rain. But by the qualifying looks, Chris By is trying to get some redemption from the last week's race in Italy, where he lost the position. So, and by the look of the gap between the Chris By and Tan is 8 thousandths of a second in between the qualifying laps. So that is some intense race we'll be able to see.
Yep. I think we are expecting another Monza today. Back and forth.
Well, crucially, Tanish will also be starting on the inside as he gets away from the start-finish line. If he has the momentum to begin with, he might just take the lead by turn 2.
So we are now at a brief pause for the drivers to pick up their strategies. So guys, what are your predictions? Who's going to take the win and who's going to be in the podium?
So I think anybody who gets a great start gets ahead. If it's Tanish or Chris By, if you're ahead, I think you have much less to worry about, staying away from any carnage that might ensue. So yeah, if you're able to have a good start, stay out of trouble. I'm not sure how it might pan out, but I'm hoping people can stay out of trouble here.
Yeah, no one wants an early wing damage and then have to pit again.
Yes, definitely. Now, usually turn 1 called carnage is very, it can go up to 3-4 cars going off the track, someone losing their wings, spinning out. So it's a very high possibility that safety car can come at the very first lap itself, probably mix up the strategies even further. And now someone has readied up, and now 30 seconds for the lights to go out.
So in the first corner, I don't expect that the front runners will have an issue. It's the midfield that has to battle it out. So they have.
Yep.
There can be a carnage in the middle field as of now. So only Sentience is left. I think Sentience did not join us in qualifying, but in race he has definitely. So 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go. That was a very short pause there.
Tanish just picked up a great start there, had the momentum already. Chris By not really pulling out as much as he'd want to.
Oh, and there's a Red Bull and a Force India off the track. The Red Bull has suffered the most. Thermophobe has lost quite a huge chunk of his front wing and is at the back of the grid. Meanwhile, there's a Toro Rosso as well on the S-curve of the track and has lost his front wing as well.
That will be Vinay there. Actually, Thermo seems to not have lost any of his front wing. His front. Oh no, he has definitely. He definitely has a left wing and lid damage there. Looking at the top positions, Tanish has taken the lead. I guess the inside line really helped him there.
Yep,
but Chris By is not that further back.
RB Ferrello not having the ideal start by any measure here, dropping down 2 positions.
And it's quite irony that Red Bull on their home track with Honda is not doing pretty well so far.
We can still look for some action. As I say that my cockpit cam view is not working for some reason. So Chris By is trying to make a move on Tanish. Both are almost equal pace. There is a position change.
There's a collision over there in after 130R between a Haas and not sure who else was it, but he has definitely lost a huge chunk of front wing and he has to probably pit now and go on harder options to stay as much further as possible towards the end of the race probably with these hard tires if he puts on.
Meanwhile, he spins out in the first corner itself, loses a couple of positions there.
Oh, and I've noticed Renault spinning and Chris
Both Abarpan and
has spun.
Chris Bhai have spun on the turn.
Well, that Dunlop curve is actually quite tricky if you see even the slightest grass.
RB is trying to make a move on Altair there. There are 3 cars within 1 second, Sentience, Altair and RB. Sentience has got an excellent race start with a 10 position gain there.
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers here are just getting used to the fact that there's a full load of fuel on their car after the qualifying runs that they've had. This is one of the tracks that I personally find it's very tricky to adjust to race conditions after your qualifying session.
Oh, Altair goes into the inside of 130R. Sentience keeps it ahead. But
yeah, just about goes slightly off track in doing that.
Oh, and McLaren loses quite a lot, and that gives RB a better advantage and takes the position from Altair to P6.
Yep. I think he got a very bad exit out of the casino triangles.
Sentience, the only one in the top 5 there running on the medium tire.
Both the Renaults are next to each other. Chris Bhai is having some trouble. Does he have any damage? Yep, he has a right wing damage, which is orange. So it might be affecting his turning in the S section.
Yeah, he's missing an end plate there on the right front wing.
And there is a McLaren of Altair who spun out there.
But doesn't seem to have any wing damage though. He probably kept it safe and braked early as possible before hitting the barrier quite hard. So for him, he doesn't have to pit anymore, but probably lost a huge chunk of grip on his tires.
As I say that, Sentience did not get a perfect curve on the smooth curve, so that might have affected his times there. And RB is trying to capitalize on that, going on the inside of the
130R and makes it stick. Sentience had to go off the track a bit, try to avoid the Red Bull, but Red Bull manages to make the overtake work and jumps to P5. Now he has a huge work to do catching Tanish even in this race and in the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, RB Ferrella doing a stellar job there, coming back up 4 positions. Does help a couple of spins, a couple of guys in front of him that spun out. I think that was Chris Bhai and RB. But that move on Sentience was it was probably helped him on the fact that he is on softer tires, still in their prime at the moment.
Meanwhile, Don is very close to Abarpan, going towards the hairpin. Almost hit the rear end of Abarpan, but manages to keep it clean.
I'm genuinely surprised by how Chris Bhai is choosing to still stay out. I don't understand.
Is he repeating the same mistake what Shalalak was doing back in 2019 Japan?
I mean, he's losing about a second and a half, or about a second at least, on the car ahead. A lap.
Meanwhile, Abarpan just goes too wide on the smooth curve and Don capitalizes on that, which will be 3.
Meanwhile, Matsumasum and Danish are kind of way ahead of the pack. 5 seconds gap between Matsumasum and Don, and Danish probably has got a huge breather over there after Chris Bhai spun off.
Yeah.
Well, he certainly has. I mean, he's building up about a second a lap advantage on Matsumasum at least.
And I'm not and I'm not sure why Don went into the pits. Did he went over the bump and slipped into the pits,
I
or
think so because he has no wing damage at all.
That's just a very early pit stop.
Yeah, he has gone on
and
the
he goes
softs
into the
again.
softs as well. I guess it was a very, I guess the bump made his car very loose and
He's choosing
slipped
the
into the pits.
he's choosing the aggressive two-stop strategy because these soft tires that he's just jumped on certainly are not going to last right to the end. So slightly confused by that decision or what led to that, because it's not really easy to pick through the pack here at Suzuka.
RB is trying to chase a Bourbon who is not able to do his best because he has a front left wing damage. I think his end plate is missing there. Yep, left end plate is fully gone. So RB is catching on a Bourbon slowly.
Like Abarpan is known to keep his car steady even in the trickiest conditions possible. Like in the last race where he kept old tires for 30 laps, I would guess he had kept it for so long and still managed to finish the race.
As we
In the
can see with the striking lap, with the chasing lap data also, RB is doing a second, at an average a second better than a Bourbon on each lap. So that's why he's losing time there.
Not getting the ideal exit out of the final corner there, Arbi Frello. He was really hoping to. And
oh,
as you
and
say that,
Yeah.
that is
he's run
not
into
the
the
thing
back
you
of
want to do
Williams.
as you're battling for drivers' championship right there.
But I feel he can catch up to a Bourbon because he is having a wing damage that is causing a lot of issue with him driving in the S section and all.
Meanwhile, other Red Bull of Thermophobe is trying to catch Abhi's towards the S much as possible, not trying. Oh, and he goes a bit wide and loses all the pace he gained over there and gives Akash Hegde sort of an opportunity to make a move towards the hairpin. But Akash is also staying a bit cautious. He's not pushing, and Thermophobe is losing his rear end
Rear.
quite a lot.
Yeah.
And Akash takes the opportunity, tries to go on the inside, but breaks quite early. Was he afraid to make the move done, or that was very confusing? He braked very early. He could have made the move done.
Yeah, definitely.
Arbi's now under immense pressure from Sentience, who I think is probably the major gain, who's had the major gains here in the first 6 laps of the race on the medium tires. He can certainly hope for a podium position if he keeps up this pace.
Akash did lose on the curve, went too wide and fell a lot behind.
Finally making that important decision of pitting, getting the wing replacement.
But he's changing to medium tires. So will he make one more stop after, or will he try to do the same thing as he did in Italy, trying to make that medium last 27th lap?
He has to carry those mediums for 20 laps, which is a very far-fetched thing. But if he can pull it off, it will be an excellent thing to watch.
Yeah, I think the life of medium tires here is about 15 laps or so, if I can remember correctly, 16 laps.
But it looks like drivers are not able to cope up with the tire wear right now. Meanwhile, Akash is trying to go for overtake on Thermo. Goes
Both are
on the
side by side.
outside, but Thermo gets the better line and Akash has to back off.
Given the dismal performance of the Red Bulls in qualifying, I must say they've done rather well coming up the field in the first few laps of the race so far.
And meanwhile, someone who's doing not so well is not so Masoom with a 3-second penalty right there.
Tanish sets the fastest lap, 1:33.1.
Tanish is definitely looking to gain as much momentum as possible.
Yeah, he's got all the clean air ahead of him. That's almost another second gained over the last 3 laps or so of Not So Masoom.
I've noticed this with Akash Hegde. He's taking the spoon curve too wide. He goes too wide there. Is that a track exploit or something of sorts, which I am not aware of?
I think going too wide at Spoon does give you a warning at least, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if he gains or picks up a few penalties if he continues doing that.
Meanwhile, Alter is right behind Agent 47, gives a tap from behind, but now he'll have the DRS advantage. But will he be able to catch up till the turn 1 and try to go for an overtake? I don't think he will be able to do that, so he has to stay back for another for sector 1, I would say, till the head where the officer they're overtaking.
Currently looking at the pace of Alter.
And speaking of that, in the midfield, Thermophobe probably has lost his control of the car, and that puts Akash into P7 right now.
I think Thermo lost it on the uphill climb, spun around there, and now Abarpan is chasing him.
So we'll be coming around to the first pit stop for the guys on soft tires at about lap 10, 11 or 12 or so. And if you look at Abarpan where he is at the moment, P9, he will be looking to see at least 3 or 4 cars ahead of him cleared, and then getting up to P4 or P5 at least. Maybe taking a breather after that and making sure that he preserves his tires.
While Abarpan tries to go for an overtake, goes on the inside, almost shoves her wide and takes the position to P8. It was almost like an overtake from like what we saw from Albon on Norris.
And all this has helped Dawn to close in the gap between those two people, Abarpan and Thermo.
Dr. Masoom is meanwhile struggling immensely. That's another 2.5 seconds he's lost on the last lap at least.
Yes, before
he had a slight moment of a half a spin there coming out of the hairpin.
Yes, it's hard to keep the consistency on this track because, like, after a while you'll start to do not feel as if you're like at your best, and you'll probably lose somewhere. At the main.
I'm going to cut you off there, Ninja. Sorry, Sentience, who I think was doing fabulously, has just gone off at the exit of the hairpin. All the advantage that he had gained on those medium tires, I think he's going to now have to take an early pit stop, lose all the advantage of those medium tires, of being on those medium tires in the first stint. I'm not sure how much wing damage he has.
He has I can see a huge chunk of right plate damage, like right end plate and the bits of.
Yep. I'll be surprised if he now has to jump on the hard tires.
Meanwhile,
I guess he can
Abarpan, meanwhile, Abarpan is trying to make a move on Akash Hegde. Oh, Akash Hegde goes too wide.
He takes the easy overtake right there. He jumps to P7.
Sentience has pitted for the hearts.
So now
I think all of this has played well into the hands of Arby there. I think he hasn't put a foot down so far. He's done quite well. I think he started on P7, dropped to P9 on the first lap, and now he's running P3. He's about 20 odd seconds or almost a pit stop behind the lead of the race, but I mean he's done rather well come up this far.
Thermo is trying to chase Akash.
So far the pack looks like the gap has quite a lot between the drivers right now, except for Don, who is trying to chase Thermophobe.
Looking at the time that Don is gaining on Thermo, except the last lap he was gaining like 3 seconds, 1 second, 9 seconds a lap for some reason, but in the last lap he lost 1 second.
The interesting thing about Don, I think, is that he's going to be looking to be very aggressive here because he's on a 2-stop strategy.
Yeah, he has to push every lap so that he can utilize his 2-stop strategy to the maximum.
I would really be very impressed if he's able to do another 16 laps of qualifying, and as I say that, very aggressive there, trying to make a move.
But that was a very dangerous move, I would say, if you tried to stick towards the outside of Thermophobe.
Absolutely, very ambitious there.
Meanwhile, Abarpan just sets the fastest time of 1:33. That too on medium tires, so he is pushing as of now.
Well, now this is the point where the softs will start to drop quite rapidly over here. Because as we see, Not So Masum is not doing quite well. First, he had a gap of 3.6, then he instantly gained the gap to 7.8 now. So he's quite far back from Tanish. So even if Tanish gets penalty, he may have to work a bit more harder to get close to him. Meanwhile, RB looks also to be in a consistent pace, but may slightly start dropping right now. So all the soft runners will have to think when to pit between lap 12 to 15, and as we say, Not So Masum jumps into the pits.
And Don is overtaken by Chris By. Chris By was gaining a second per lap on Don.
Yeah, it's all going very horribly for Don at the moment, I think.
It's quite interesting actually, because Chris By is on his hard tires now and is actually gaining time on thermophobe on 10 lap old soft tires. It's not actually surprising, but kind of you can see like how Chris By is trying to push as much as he can with those hard tires.
I think Don, in an effort to be as aggressive as possible due to his strategy, is...
Oh, and Don gives him a tap on the back.
It's all going wrong for Don at the moment.
Very slight damage there though. He can manage it without replacing his front.
Speaking of damage, B has changed his front wing and now has pitted for mediums.
He will go to the end of the race. Let's see the tire wear on our front runners. RB has managed his tires quite a bit. It's only at 45% wear, and Tanish is in the front runner. For some reason, I'm not able to see his tire wear.
Now, if Tanish pits right now, he'll still be ahead of RB Farrell over here. So at this point, he's not losing at all. But he still decides to keep. And Tanish left the session. Oh, this is the wrong time to be leaving from the
I was literally about to say that he's done a stellar job so far, keeping that lead and building upon that lead in the clean air. Not sure if he's suffering from the connection issues.
The only hope he can be having is to rejoin as quick as possible before losing, like I would say less than 15 seconds. So because of that,
Not So Masum would have seen that message that Tanish is disconnected from the session.
Meanwhile, Altair just spins out. He hit the curb on the inside of the smooth curve, and this just spins you out.
So it's look like everyone is quite struggling over here, even with fresh tires or old tires. And speaking of that, RB has pitted, comes out, and is P4. I don't know why he pitted a bit early, because Tanish was, I guess he wanted to gain as much time on Tanish since he has not rejoined the session yet.
Yeah.
Not So Masum going into the wall again there.
Oh, this is not the thing you would be doing at...
Certainly not the time to be doing that.
And that has affected his front wing. His front left wing has a red damage. So
yeah,
big chunk of
I was almost about to say that this is the time for him to just kind of push and make sure that whatever he had lost in the first stint, he would gain that back, given that Tanish is disconnected.
Yeah. So Tanish has got to be the case anymore. A huge luck over there, I would say, kind of like Hamilton, but I guess even way bigger than that. I would like he had two threats, RB Farrell and Not So Masum. Both have suffered a huge amount. RB not so much, but he still has to do quite a lot of work if he wants to catch Tanish.
Yeah, he can at least be hoping for
and
RB.
Tanish bot just pitted. So, or is
but
it
actually,
just...
it's the right thing by the bot. He has pitted for the media. Now the only hope Tanish has, if he knows what's going on, is that the car shouldn't pit once more, because this is a possibility for the bot. That bot tends to pit again and again if the player hasn't joined.
So I'm just seeing Not So Masum now go past the pit lane, and I get the feeling that he's probably just hoping that Tanish does not connect back. He knows that he's got about 10 or 11 seconds behind him, so that he can hold off the guys behind him and make sure that he can get a win somehow if Tanish connect. I'm not sure what exactly he's going through right now.
But it seems like he's not gaining as much as he would, but actually he's started to gain. He's actually gaining on the straight lines, but when it comes to corners, he's suffering quite a lot.
That's probably because of his front brake.
Yes, and now he's very close to Tanish, who hasn't rejoined yet. Goes
That
for a
will
very
be a
easy
very
overtake
sad
before
overtake. Yep.
actually
I hate to
he's
say, guys, all of this is playing fantastically for Abarpan. We know he's a guy who stays back, does not put a foot wrong. I really wouldn't be surprised if he eventually takes the win. If Tanish doesn't come back and Not So Masoom is somehow forced to take another stop.
Yeah, he can be one of the podium contenders there.
I'm surprised also that RB on much fresher tires is not really catching Abarpan as much as I would have hoped him to be doing.
Abarpan is using quite a lot of his DRS. He's actually tend to pushing a lot. He knows Tanish is not reconnected yet.
He has almost exhausted his full ERS bottle there.
And meanwhile, his championship contender RB is also looking very. Seems to be saving a lot of ERS. I don't know why. At this point, he knows he has not reconnected, so he should be using that quite a lot.
Tanish's bot is almost able to keep up with Not So Masoom.
I feel that Not So Masoom will try to create a small gap between him and Tanish's bot and then try pitting, getting a wing change. Or maybe towards the end when he sees Tanish join, then he will probably pit and go on softs.
Yeah, I think pitting would be the last thing on his mind at the moment, because if he knows if he pits right now, he's going to come out around about P6 or P7 or so, I think. Isn't he?
I feel like Not So Masoom is eventually a sitting duck, even if he pits or if he doesn't.
Correct. Yeah, Abarpan or RB at least are gonna chase him down at some point.
Meanwhile, Thermo is being chased by Alter. Meanwhile, Thermo is being chased by Alter, and he is gaining a lot of time on Thermo Alter there. Maybe because Thermo is not able to take curves, few of the curves properly there.
Yes,
so in all the shuffling that's been happening in the first 3 or 4 positions, let's put our attention back to Don, who somehow made his way back up to P6 on those second set of soft tires. And as I do say that, he's jumping into the pits.
So now the only option he has to pit on mediums, but he has to gain quite a lot of places with that. So far,
I'm really surprised by this strategy here.
Yes, exactly. Like, and he serves his 5-second penalty as well, so he's going to put him further back in the grid, and he has a huge chunk of work to do if he wants to make it to the points, a huge amount of points.
Meanwhile, Thermo and Alter battle is going on there. Don is pushed up very back because of that 5-second serving of the penalty. Alter takes the lead from Thermo.
Speaking of that, RB is closing in on his championship rival. He can see him ghosting. He knows he has a huge opportunity right here.
Yeah. And I think before 130R itself he will get Tanish's ghost. Yep, he does get him.
Yeah, interestingly, RB is not gaining as much as I would have expected him to on Abarpan. He's got about 6 lap fresher tires.
I think he's expecting Abarpan to pit again because the time he pitted for the medium is quite early. So I think he's thinking that he may pit again. So he's trying to stay put, but also kind of push a little by little, not as much as he would be right now.
I can tell you with the data that I have that RB gained 3 tenths and 2 tenths in the last 2 laps, and the last 3rd lap he lost just 200ths there. So it's like he is gaining but very slowly there.
Oh, and at this point, he's also getting warnings and getting 3-second time penalties. So that's not what you should be collecting since you have a huge opportunity of possibly winning the race as well.
Yep, certainly. Not so Masoom, meanwhile, still with that wing damage running in P1. I wonder how long he's going to keep running for. I mean, he can obviously see the guys behind him closing in.
And speaking of that, Tanish, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Tanish has rejoined. He might be quite disappointed if he sees like where he ended up right now.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree.
He would try pushing as much as possible as of now.
And Tanish has officially rejoined and now has to make a lot of places. His ERS is also quite down and he may feel a bit different considering he's now on medium tires, and before he disconnected he was on soft tires. And there's a yellow flag on sector 2, not sure.
I think it was Thermo who lost his car before the hairpin. Because he lost there a couple of places there.
One Red Bull on the other and having stellar performance. And there's a incident right in front of Thermo. It was Agent 47 probably losing after the exit of the spoon curve and lost a huge chunk. Brings out the virtual safety car. So Agent 47 does have an opportunity, but he will be behind Sentience by.
He has to definitely pit because his wings are fully gone, my friend. Yep, dives into the pit straight away.
Turning the attention back to the front of the pack, I have to say, if Not So Masoom is looking to pit, this has to be the time to do so.
He's losing a lot of time there, and he's just becoming a setting duck to Abarman.
Yep, he's certainly going to come out P5 if he does pit at the moment, but if he's going to maximize a chance on the soft tires, having a charge at the end of the race, he has to come to the pits now.
Yeah, he has to definitely pit right now if he wants any chance of finishing in higher points as possible. Oh, and Abarman dives into the inside and he cuts a huge chunk of corner, gets a 5-second penalty for that. But Masoom still manages to stay outside, and that will help RB Farello close into both of them as well. Oh, and Abarpan going for the inside, and he goes a bit more opportunistic over there, and that was not a move you should be doing considering the situation of Masoom over there, and he loses quite a lot of places.
Yep,
and now he's also going to be a target for Tanish, who's trying to seek as much positions as possible.
Certainly, all the good work that he had done has just come undone.
So, and meanwhile, this gives a huge opportunity for RB Farello, who is now 3/10 down on Masoom, and he's probably looking for an opportunity at the hairpin. Will he dive down the inside? No, he stays back, tries to keep it safe, and looking for. And he spins, and this is not what you're supposed to be doing. While you had a huge opportunity of probably winning this race.
Everything is happening here, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like whatever we are thinking is quite happening the opposite right now.
Meanwhile, Tanish has gained a lot of time there because of all this mess there. RB has a front left wing damage, so he might have to pit again.
Yeah, somehow I wouldn't be surprised at all. But after being disconnected for about 5 or 6 laps, Tanish might actually come back and end up winning the race again.
Yes, definitely. Even Masoom, it looks like he may end up in 2nd or 3rd place if he continues like that. But Chris Bay is also looking quite racy over here, even with his hard tires right now. He's keeping with the pack right ahead. So if penalties do matter in this race, it will come to the effect, and probably Chris Bay will take the podium spot.
As you said that Tanish just set the fastest time of the session of a 1:32.0. He is pushing.
He is pushing quite a lot inside at turn 2, but could make it quite far back, and he's trying to keep it as safe as possible. He knows Abarpan is struggling quite a lot. Oh, and then
it was Vinay, yeah.
For a second, it would have lost it if it was Masoom.
Masum is trying to hold everyone up with those broken wings. I would be
But
really surprised if it happens.
meanwhile, will Tanish go for the dive? No, he doesn't. He stays back. And he'll look for the spoon curve right now if he can get an opportunity to overtake.
He's even
Yeah,
burning out his.
I think he's aware that he has to be very sensible here, given that.
Oh, and he
Aberpan
goes
has
around the
penalty.
outside, but Aberpa goes all on the outside, tried to block him, but misses it, and Tanish takes the advantage. And looking at his ERS deployment, Tanish was pushing quite a lot. He's not 8% ERS, but Aberpan is looking racy, trying to take a
Also,
looking
Tanish used a lot of his fuel there because his engine seems really hot, probably using his car in the rich mix.
Yes, he's definitely not waiting over here. He's definitely wants to get the his pole position back.
Oh, he lagged back a bit there and
Oh,
goes too
Aberpan
wide.
is trying to take the opportunity from that, but couldn't. He was quite far back. Meanwhile, Chris By is also like getting a huge chunk of advantage from both of their mistakes. And meanwhile, RB has actually pitted and is now on soft tires.
So I wonder if Tanish knows or if he's aware that Notsumasum has some massive wing damage. I hope that he's not caught out by that somehow.
I feel like he is not aware because look at him down. Now he's 3/10 down on Masum, keeping up to its slipstream, but also getting some dirty air over there towards the spoon curve now. Tries to keep the momentum as much as possible. Gets a good exit now. He's now as close to Masum as he can possibly get, and now he has to make a clean overtake towards the casino triangle.
I think the only thing that held Tanish back was that he did not had enough ERS to go to overtake. Meanwhile, not so Masum was on overtake mode all the way on that straight.
And he meanwhile take the DRS advantage that he has. Goes side by side. Will it end up bad in turn 1? Ahead. And both side by side towards turn 1. Tanis takes the lead into the turn 2 and gets his position back what he lost before he disconnected. Meanwhile, Masum is struggling quite a lot, and that is giving Aberpan a good advantage. And Krisba as well, who is keeping up with the pack and hasn't lost an inch of his pace.
I've got to say, Tanish, they're judging very, very correctly. Braking and the damage on Notsumasu and exactly where he was braking. Not diving down in the last chicane, waiting out for the main straight, getting the better exit, and getting the move done on DRS.
And now there's a feisty battle between Notsumasu Aberpan and Krisba. Krisba is actually closing quite a lot with his hard tires. Considering his hard tires now 17 laps out, doesn't have as much pace as the medium tires, but seems like Aberpan's medium tires is also quite dropping, or will start to drop after 16 laps.
I have to say, for Notsumasu, I think he will be, at the end of the race, will be looking back in hindsight and thinking whether he should have done the pit stop earlier. Charged back later on in the last 10 or 11 laps.
Yep, I also think so. And Notsumasu picks up a 3-second penalty there.
Meanwhile, Aberpan gets the DRS, but will he go for the overtake? He's very close right now. It tries to switch and almost lost his rear end, but tries to keep it on track and doesn't manage to get the overtake done. Not so much. Quite nicely defends his position, and that also gives Chris By a lot of advantage. He's also has gained quite a lot because of their battle towards turn 1. And there Aberpan takes the curve and he slips out, and Chris By almost got collected by that, but his quick reflex helped him a lot, and now he's going for a battle with Masum.
I am really surprised to see how Notsumasu is able to keep it on the track with that level of damage.
Yes, Masoom has a lot of roller coaster emotions, I guess. At one point, he's thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna screw this all up," and at the second moment, he sees someone spinning, and like, "Oh, I have to see more laps coming. I can get into podium place."
There is a three-way battle going on for P10 for the points between Turbo, Sentience, and Altair. Sentience on hards, Altair on softs, fresh softs.
It's quite a battle for the final points tally, and Altair be a bit shoved by Sentience on the outside. And
meanwhile, Chris Bai is very close to overtaking Natsumasu.
But now he's quite back, and it's difficult to get overtake done in these S curves. The only thing you can do is maintain as much as pace as possible, try to stick behind him and get the overtake done in probably at the hairpin or probably even in tech now. Oh, you can see Masoom sliding a bit off. He's getting some understeer, losing his grip. And Chris West also kind of taking his time. Maybe he knows the situation of the penalties and he's probably not being so fighty right now.
Meanwhile, Altair did gain a position by overtaking Sentience there, and Altair will try chasing Turbo, who is to say that should not take a breather because he is losing 3 seconds per lap to the guy behind, so Altair might just get him very fast.
Coming back up to P2, the battle for P2, Chris Bai chasing down Natsumasu.
He's still quite far back, but may have the DRS opportunity, so he's at the back.
I get the feeling Chris Bai is probably just holding back. He's aware, perhaps, of the damage that Natsumasu has. Perhaps he's waiting to make a mistake, not taking a risk.
A lot, and that's not what he's supposed to do. But Chris Bai doesn't care. Gets into the inside, gets the overtake done, and jumps to P2. All the position that he lost, he has finally gained, and he's now on P2. Probably not be able to fight for the lead of the race, but definitely has gained a lot of races from where he felt.
Definitely the wiser way to get ahead there.
And as we have 3 laps to go for the top 3, seems like Tanish is gonna win this race if the penalties don't make a difference, followed by Chris Bai, who is now 10 seconds behind. So there's no point that Chris Bai won't be able to catch for the lead. Meanwhile, Natsumasu still struggling a lot. But doesn't seem to be catching to Masoom very quickly. I guess he's losing the grip of his tires.
Yep, that's probably because of his tires, because his tires are at 60% there.
Gabapan is known to keep his tires going and keep it on track. So let's see if he can manage to keep
I think this is just the right time to start to have a look at the penalties here. I'm not sure if Aberpan has a 5-second penalty. I always get the feeling that I remember seeing a 5-second for him. But in the race director, I can see that Natsumasu, I think, perhaps has more penalties than Aberpan.
If you look at Tanish's penalties, he actually has only 1 warning this whole race, without considering the fact that he was disconnected for the few laps, but still quite a clean race. And Chris Bai, meanwhile, has only 2 warnings.
There is a lot of action that went down in the first S section in the back of the field. Thermos spun out, Sentience spun out.
I can see a McLaren off the track.
Yeah.
He has lost a huge chunk of his front wing.
Yep, his front wing front left is almost fully gone there.
And now he's being lapped by Tanish, and he goes off the track. Is he retiring from the race or?
Yep.
Yes, he retires from the race. But isn't that a dangerous position to retire from the race?
I guess by the time the other cars will come along, his car would have disappeared.
Usually this causes a safety car to come out, but now it's too late for that because we have only 2 laps to go. Tanish leading the race, followed by Chris Bai in P2 and Natsumasu with his wing damage and still where his car being very understeer, he managed to keep P3.
I don't think Aberpan would be able to catch Natsumasu in the 2 laps that is left on this race. Almost 1 lap.
Let's see
I almost
the-
think that he might get him on penalties at the end, at the rate at which he's catching him.
Yes, we should check the penalty situations right now. Seems like Natsumasu has 2 penalties and quite a lot of warnings, so it adds up to 6 seconds, excluding if he has a 5-second unserved penalty. Meanwhile, Aberpan has only 1 penalty and 2 warnings so far. So if he exceeds track limits again, he will get 1 more penalty.
So all Aberpan has to do is keep within 3 seconds of Natsumasu at the end of the
He's
race.
actually doing that already. He's already 3 seconds down, under 3 seconds of Masum, but if he exceeds once before this race ends, he may not end up in.
I somehow have a feeling that one of Aberpan's penalties was a 5-second one, so I think at that rate he will have to get within a second of Natsumasu. I might be wrong, but yeah, it certainly looks like he's pushing to get into 1 second.
He's actually gaining a lot of time over there, and he's actually now 1.6 seconds behind Natsumasu. First he was about 2.8 seconds or 2.6 seconds. Now he's reduced that to 1 second.
I feel that he's pushing right now. It's the last lap. What will you do with the extra left DRS? So just throw it in.
Yeah, I kept down to 1.3 now.
And meanwhile, as we see Tanish go to the final corner, almost missing the pit barrier, crosses the line.
Comes
The Japanese
P1.
free.
Chris
and
Bai is about to
now
cross
also
the
going
line
on the
next.
final corner. Oh, and he was side. Probably would have also if he wasn't careful. So crosses P3, but Aberpan crosses and takes P3 from him. And Masum only 500ths of a second behind Aberpan. That was a very close finish by him.
Yeah, he certainly had that 5-second one. I think one of his penalties, he had to be within a second there.
Yeah. Next to cross the line is Abhi and
RB
RB.
overtakes him in the line because of the penalties, and also gets the fastest lap with a 1:31.456.
That's a nice way to end his race. At least 1 extra point in the back. Sohamde crosses the line next. P7. Altair is in the 130R curve.
Meanwhile, other Honda Thermophobe is must be quite happy to finish in the points tally, considering where he started from and what all happened on track. And also gets the crucial points which our Red Bull needs to fight for the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of the Drivers' Championship, that's a 14-point lead Tanish has just built up on RB.
Yes, definitely. Now Tanish is looking. Now since we have only 4 races left after this, so Tanish has a huge lead. Not huge, I would say, but a considerable lead. And he can, if he keeps this momentum going till the last round, he'll definitely win the Drivers' Championship of Tier 2.
And mind you that his teammate was not available today. So he did it all on his own today.
Yes, definitely. He carried the team today at the track. It's a Red Bull. It would be a Red Bull favorite because of the Honda engines, but Ferrari has taken the win right here.
So we have Tanish, Chris Bai, and Aberpan, your top 3. I'm going to be a bit selfish here, give myself a bit of a brownie point and say that I called out Aberpan ending P3 right at the start of the race.
Yeah, so that is 1 brownie point for you, I guess.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So meanwhile, we are waiting for the drivers to join us for the interview.
I guess they have already joined us. Are you guys here?
Looks like they have not yet joined. They might be a bit confused. Let's see.
Okay, can you guys just take a screenshot of the results if you guys have not
no
quit?
problem.
Yeah, because for me somehow that thing did not even come up.
So meanwhile, we wait for. Oh, and we have the race winner over here, Tanish.
What do you guys think about the driver of the day? Who would you say?
Personally, I would say driver of the day is definitely Chris Bai from where he fell off. since the lead of the race. So he's definitely the driver of the day for today, and with also a solid finish of P2.
I'm
Nice.
going to differ in the opinion there slightly, Ninja. Sorry. I'm going to say Tanish is my
Yeah,
driver.
no worries. There's no
Chris Pike didn't have P1 at the start of the race. He could have easily gone on for the distance, maintained his lead. I think he didn't have the best of starts. But from my point of view, Tanish had a fantastic start. Even after disconnecting, he came back, took all the advantage of the carnage in front of him, and came back to take the win.
What about you, Nomo Profi? Who do you think is the driver of the day?
I am actually conflicted between both of your answer. Tanish did a very good job by coming after reconnecting, coming back to that top position, and RB
Yes,
also had
definitely.
a very good race. So I would say both are winners in my opinion.
I think
Same
we can
side,
say
same
we're a
side.
very balanced commentary team, I guess.
Now,
Yep.
speaking of the driver of the day, we have the 3 podium finishers, Tanish, Krisbai, and Abarpan. So, starting with Tanish, how was your race, overall race, and what happened in that disconnection? What really happened, and how did you manage to get the win?
I think I was running smoothly. It was normal race for me. But suddenly, when I was about to pit, I suddenly got a crash from the game, and the game stuck on the screen. So I didn't knew what happened. After some time, I was on the runoff area and got the 5-second penalty. So after pitting, I thought I am running first because it was showing me first, but everybody was ghosted for me. So I didn't knew what's happening. And then I saw the stream. I felt like I am botted, like I'm not driving, I am on fourth, and in my game it's showing me first. So then was the time to react what to do. So I disconnected and reconnected.
Well, if you're not aware, your bot actually made a perfect pit stop timing, and he made it pit stop at lap 13 or 14, I would say, to the medium. So I guess that bot kind of like helped you a lot, and you also pushed quite a lot towards the end after you lost so many places. So that was a great race by you. Definitely, you deserve the win today.
Thank you and well done to Chris Bhai and the Bourbon. They both drove great races, and to all the others.
Yes, as we now speak to Chris Bhai, who had a slip off but did an absolute brilliant push right there to get P2. So, Chris Bhai, how was your overall race, and like what did you do like after that slip up?
I have to say that I am satisfied with P2 with what happened at the start. And I thought I should continue with softs and mediums, but I had some damage, so I thought I should pit early and and go for hards. I'm just happy it worked out well.
Yes, definitely. You seem to be quite racy as well. That hard task did definitely do the work, did it?
Thank you.
And
A question from me, Chris. Sorry, Ninja. I'm just going to cut you off
definitely continue.
whilst we're on him. I'm just curious, just for myself, what went wrong at the start for you? And after you lost a position at the beginning, is that the pressure after that got you to slip up and spin out?
I was chasing Tanish like in the assist, and at the end, Tanish made a mistake. Like he got a bad exit, not a mistake. He got a bad exit, so I thought I should go full throttle, then overtake him around the outside. But I took the curve too much, and I think that's where I spun out.
So, at any point, did you ever think that maybe at the end of the race you won't have enough pace on those hard tires?
Yeah, definitely. I was aiming for P8 or P7, but like as the race went on, I was in P5, so I thought I should go for podium.
At what point did you think that podium was achievable?
When I got close to when Abapan spun out, like, and I think close to Masoom. I don't remember correctly. That's when I thought like I should go for podium and push more.
Nice. That was a nice race from your side. So
Thank
next
you.
we have Abarpan. So
Yeah, hi.
congrats on your win today, third place. So is this how many podiums have you won till now?
This is my first podium.
Yep, I was expecting that this was one of your first podiums. So how does it feel, first of all?
Pretty jubilant, yeah, I feel amazing. But yeah, I never expected the podium. Obviously, like I was chasing Masoom, and I was just hoping he had penalty more than me. So it worked.
So were you preparing for this interview before the race even before the race even ended, or what?
No, nothing of that. I spun out many times on the exit of the SS, so that was very sad. So yeah, I had pace, so I could have maybe fought with the top two guys. Maybe, hope, I don't know, but yeah, I had
So
pace.
so at any point when you spun out, did you think that now everything is gone in the race, or I could not make a comeback, or anything like that?
Yeah, obviously, like when I spun out, I was like and I had wing damage also when I first spun out. So I fought on with the wing damage with the soft tires for about 6 laps, and then it was like it was unbearable. So I was like, let's go for the mediums and let's push it. Let's see where it lands up, because my pace on the hards wasn't good enough. So I just went on the mediums for 21 laps. So yeah, that worked out.
Nice.
Coming into the quick question from me, Abarpan. Coming up to the last 1 or 2 laps, were you aware of the penalty situation?
No, I wasn't.
Seeing now the gap that you finished ahead on.
No, I wasn't. I was just pushing hard. So yeah, pushing as much as I could.
Yeah, I guess it just goes to show you have to push right to the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so congratulations to all our winners today. Do any of you have any other questions for our winners here?
No, not much. Oh, sorry, you asked me.
It's okay, man. Yeah, we don't have any. Like, I don't have any questions. Blacksheep, what about you?
No, I'm good. Great racing, guys. Well done.
Yeah,
Yep.
GG.
So it was a very good race today at the Suzuka circuit in Japan. We have 4 more rounds to go in the Tier 2 championship. Next will be Singapore, a very beautiful track to drive at night, but a lot of action also. Many people hitting the wall, getting their cars broken. So I guess we will catch you guys next week, same time, on the same channel. Meanwhile, if any of you guys are interested in joining our community, our racing community, we generally do league races, we talk about F1, we have Assetto Corsa. Any motorsport enthusiast can join us. The link of the Discord channel will be in the description. So see you guys next week for Singapore.